Hey everybody, thanks for coming back for another episode of Work Knives of the World. We're on number 13. And in this one here, we're going to Mexico. Yeah, so if we're going to Mexico, you may have already guessed, the work knife that I chose for this episode is the machete. Yes, the machete is a type of a knife. And they're very popular in Mexico. I know they're very popular all around the world. Yeah, and here's some styles of different machetes that I put together for you folks right here. Yes, as you can see, they have a lot of different origins, a lot of different styles of machetes, just depending on the region of where they're being used. In Mexico, machetes are primarily used in the agricultural field. Everything from cutting up coconuts to trimming vines and clearing brush and cutting grass. They're a lawnmower in a lot of places in rural Mexico. They use a machete as a lawnmower. Yeah, there's a lot of different styles, but in my research I found that the bush machete seems to be the most popular choice for most people, and it's a very affordable. There's a few different popular brands down there that they can get, a lot of them out of Argentina and Brazil. The Tramontina, for example, you can pick up pretty reasonable. I watched a video of a guy from Mexico. It was in Spanish, so I had to use the subtitles. But it was a pretty comprehensive video in machetes that he's familiar with, that they use in his area and that type of thing. And like he said in that video, I mean, a machete becomes an extension of yourself when you use it enough. It just basically becomes a part of you. Yeah, as you know, I always include a knife or two in my videos of the Work Knives of the World series. So I'll start off with this old machete here that I made about 30 years ago, maybe more. Can't remember quite when I made it, but it was a long time ago. And made the leather sheath at the same time, and it's held up pretty good considering this. Rode in my truck for a number of years, and I would use it camping and clearing brush and all kinds of stuff. But it's I made it out of stainless steel. It is, I call it a Bowie style because it does have a clip point on it with a rosewood handle, and as you can tell, it's very well used over the years. But it's held up really well. It is very thin, so it has to be sharp. It has to be really sharp. Not that all machetes don't need to be sharp, but the thinner it is, yeah, the better it performs, the sharper it is. So that's this old Bowie style machete that sports about a 15.5-inch blade, which is kind of my preferred blade length for a machete. You can get them shoot up to 24, maybe even 30 inches long, just depends on the style. And then you can get them pretty short. I did include kukris in that. That's the style of knife originated in Nepal. Although some people might not classify that as a machete, and technically I really don't, because I don't think it was, to me a machete is more of a tool for agriculture and, you know, that type of thing, not a weapon. In this series here, I'm avoiding any knife that was manufactured as a weapon, like dirks, daggers, swords, that kind of, those are not work knives, you know. But a machete definitely, you know, it may have evolved from a sword or whatever, but they're manufactured today as agricultural or work knives, you know, and so that's why I'm including it in this video. I don't want to get into the fighting knives and all that type of thing, you know, not with this series anyway. So, as you know, I make a knife for each video, and this was a fun project I just completed, and here it is. My interpretation of a Mexican machete, and it is the bush style. And I'll pull it out of the sheath here. It's a bush style machete. It's a 1095 high carbon steel, and this one I put a bamboo handle on it, out of bamboo that I actually grow myself. Here's a chunk I left aside to show you. This is what this handle started with, a piece of giant timber bamboo, which is a thicker version of bamboo, and I love using this stuff. It will, this was drying outside, and it gets some superficial cracks in it from time to time, but like right here, but I filled that with super glue, and it doesn't go all the way through, it's just right on the surface. I put some super glue and sawdust in there just to kind of fill it and that. But I blued the blade and then just buffed out the edge, give it that little shiny look to it, and then made it to where it has a lanyard hole for a lanyard on the handle, and it has a really nice feel to it. It's a lot thicker than that other machete, and I've got a few other machetes too that I've made, but we'll just stick to this one here and that. Let me talk a little bit about the handle attachment. For any of you knife makers or people interested in getting into it, the hardware that I use to attach this handle, and I epoxied it. I always epoxy my handles. That way, any moisture, if it gets wet, it's not going to seep in between the metal and the handle. Even if it was a stainless steel blade, you still get moisture in there, it'll rust, you know. Stainless steel is really, it's not impervious to rust, it's just rust resistant because of its chromium content. So you can buy these handle bolts from various, these are, I've had laying around for ages. You can get them in stainless steel. I've got a big supply of these in brass, and you can get them in different sizes, different lengths, all that stuff, you know. But yeah, these are all handle bolts that you can buy from knife maker supplies. But if you're on a budget like I am, you can actually, these on this, you might be able to tell this one I used a brass bolt, and these are stainless steel nuts. And what I do, or what I did years ago, is I would take a bolt and stack a bunch of nuts. I'll take a long bolt and then just lock a bunch of nuts together on that bolt, chuck it up in a drill, and then go over your belt grinder, your sander, or whatever, and round them. And then when you're done, they come out like this. And, you know, the nut turns into this. And then, you know, if you want the contrast, I didn't have 3 brass bolts, so I only did the one with brass, and then these are just stainless, and with the stainless nuts, you know. Yeah, and then you countersink the handle, and to accept that size, whatever you know, ground the nuts down to round. Yeah, and it makes nice, pretty looking handle hardware. You know, instead of the ordinary squeeze type rivets like I used on this one years ago, which are fine too, but just a little bit different handle style that I made. This was kind of fun. It's all glued together And then really this lacing that I put leather lacing around it, and I put rivets here and there so the blade would not, cut into it. But it's glued, so the glue probably runs right up along here. So unless you're real aggressive taking it in and out, you shouldn't be cutting into the lacing or anything like that. And then these studs are just decorative along here. And then this concho, I was gonna try and make one myself with pewter and pour one, but I really didn't have a mold or any silicone to make a mold or anything like that for it. And when I was at the thrift store the other day, I actually found a pair of these. These were earrings, and they're actually made out of pewter. They're pewter earrings, and just painted the center portion there with some nail polish, and then slotted these for the leather to go through, and I thought that was a nice little decoration. And then I made it where you can tie this off to hang it off your belt and carry it this way with a leg tie strap, or it'd be easy to fashion this into a sling, make a sling, and or you could carry this on your back. Would be another method of carrying this, would be with a sling on your back and stuff, because you have these two attachment points here. But yeah, it's I like the way it came out. I think it looks pretty cool. Hope you do too. And so there it is. There is our trip to Mexico with a bush style machete. Very common tool used in all parts of Mexico. The knife laws seem to be really strict down in Mexico for walking around carrying pocket knives and things like that. But if you're carrying a machete and it looks like you're on the way to clearing some brush or cutting some vines or cut some palms or some coconuts or anything like that, nobody's going to mess with you. I mean, I know they're used as weapons, but every knife in this series could be used as a weapon. If it's not manufactured as a weapon, technically it's not a weapon. It can be used as a weapon, but it's not a weapon, like a sword, a dagger, those types of things. So anyway, that's it. That's our trip to Mexico. Hope you enjoyed it. If this is your first time, go back and check out some of my other videos. This is number 13 of a series going all around the world. And I thank you so much for watching. This is Dave. See you in the next one.